All right, today we're breaking down a pretty wild story of corporate crime, whistleblowing, and hacktivism. It all revolves around a military tech company called LS3R, and it shows how one accidental confession can ignite a massive, high-stakes battle for the truth.
So how does this whole thing kick off? Well, it starts with this. Just an absolutely explosive on-camera confession. Robert Bettridge, the founder of this military contractor LS3R, he's supposed to be recording a simple PR video. But instead, his conscience just gets the better of him, and he blurts out this secret that was never, ever meant to get out.
And just like that, the confession tears down this wall, right? On one side, you've got the slick, polished corporate line, and on the other, you have Bettridge's gut-wrenching admission. This is that classic conflict, the carefully crafted message versus the ugly, unfiltered truth that exposes the danger they were hiding.
And you better believe that single moment of honesty sends shockwaves through the company. I mean, they've got this huge, lucrative takeover by a U.S. firm on the line. So this ruthless executive, Nathan Haldane, he immediately goes into full-on damage control mode to bury the evidence.
Okay, so to get a lid on this, LS3R knows they have to control the story. And what's step one in the corporate crisis playbook? Find a scapegoat. And their sights land squarely on the communications officer who just happened to be filming that confession, our protagonist, Liz.
And for Liz, her entire world just implodes in a matter of days. She gets framed for a leak she didn't commit, her apartment gets ransacked by what look like ex-soldiers, and she's forced to go on the run, fleeing from a threat she doesn't even fully understand yet.
But here's the kicker. The warning call? It comes from our own colleague, Emmanuel. In this moment of pure panic and guilt, he admits that he's the one who set her up to save his own skin. A pretty stark look at how corporate pressure can turn friends into enemies.
So she's on the run, being hunted by corporate mercs. What do? Where do you go? Well, Liz makes a choice that changes the entire game. She reaches out to her estranged brother, Ben, and dives headfirst into this world of anti-corporate hacktivism, a world with its own set of rules.
So who are these redistributors? Well, they are definitely not your average protesters. Think of them as a highly skilled collective with a really radical agenda. It really makes you wonder, right? Can you justify illegal acts, like hacking, if it's for what you believe is a greater good? For these guys, the answer is a clear yes.
And believe me, these guys have serious skills. We're talking shutting down mobile networks, hacking, and redistributing, get this, over £200 million from tax evaders. So for Liz, this group looks like her only shot, and she gives them the one thing she has left, that video file of Bettridge's confession.
Okay, so Liz has just found some incredibly powerful allies, right? But back at LSTR, Nathan is about to prove just how low he's willing to go. He's about to make this personal, brutally personal.
Yeah, he stops going after Liz and starts going after her family. His goons kidnap her father, an elderly man, mind you, with a heart condition, and the demand is crystal clear, the video file in exchange for his life. I mean, can you imagine? This puts Liz in an absolutely impossible position. It's the ultimate ethical nightmare. Do you betray your new allies and kill the story to save your own father? Or do you stick to your guns and risk his life for the greater good? There's no good answer here.
In the end, she chooses her father. Of course she does. But the whole deal, it's a trap. The exchange goes south, fast. Nathan's team gets the video back. They murder the hacktivist leader, Michael Manning, in cold blood, and they leave her father fighting for his life.
And just like that, it looks like it's over. Game, set, and match to the corporation. The evidence is gone, the main opposition is dead, and LS3R's massive £230 million takeover sails through. The bad guys won.
But it's not over yet. While Liz and her brother are visiting their dad in the hospital, they find this cryptic note. It's not his handwriting, and it points them to a specific location, giving them one last desperate shot at blowing this whole thing wide open.
So what's the Hail Mary play? It's simple, but man, is it risky. They've got to find Bettridge, the founder, who's basically being held prisoner in a private clinic. Then they have to get him on camera one more time and get that new confession out to the world before Nathan's last mercenary can stop them. And he does find them. Of course he does. But the final showdown, it isn't a fistfight. It's a battle of conscience. Liz, cornered by the very guy who's been hunting her, she doesn't fight him. She talks to him. She appeals to him as a former soldier, someone who knows what happens when gear is faulty. And in that moment, something clicks. He stands down. And with him out of the way, they get it done.
They record Bittredge's new, much more detailed confession, and they blast it out everywhere. The impact? It's instant. It's an absolute catastrophe for LS3R. You can see it right here. The stock price, which had been at its peak, just completely nosedives into the ground.
But here's the thing. It doesn't stop with just destroying the company. In retaliation for their leader's death, Michael Manning's followers launched this unprecedented hacking campaign. It's a perfect example of how, in our world today, one corporate scandal can unleash a digital tidal wave that can bring an entire financial system to its knees.
So, at the end of the day, this whole story is a classic David versus Goliath, but for the modern age. The slingshot isn't a rock anymore. It's a viral video and a network of determined activists. It really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? In this new kind of warfare, a war of information and corporate power, what is the real cost of truth?